Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelle and today is basically I'm just gonna take you on a tour of the things that I do to relieve some stress. I've had a very long work day today, especially since I'm on deadline for something, so I had to sit at my desk for a few hours at least and really pound away at the keys and liquefy my brain, trying to think of ways to say things effectively so that the message I'm trying to put out comes across effectively. And so yeah, it's almost 5 p.m. which means that in these parts the sunset will come in an hour or so, so I have some time to be out here on my balcony and chill out a bit. Now of course there's a truck stop that's just outside the window, but we're high up enough so that the constant gunning of the engines doesn't really bother me that much. And I've got this beautiful view of Pasig City, Ortigas Center just across the way, so I'm gonna show you that right now. Here's the truck stop. That's Ortigas Center. So one thing you might notice as I panned across my balcony is that I do have a number of plants here. I actually started gardening just before the lockdown started. My mom got a bunch of plants from a friend. They were called Insulin Plants, and well, it fell to me to take care of these plants because my mom's not really a green thumb. And I thought, well, it would be a great challenge to do something that's different. You know, it's something that's not sports related or wellness related and can take my mind off work at the end of the day. And so I took them on, I repotted them, and this is what they look like now. This is an insulin plant, which is an offshoot of the older Insulin Plant, which the reason why these leaves are so crispy is because I left this plant out in the sun early in its life, so all the leaves shriveled up. But as you can see, the new leaves look quite good. I might have to trim this one though and just leave this better plant out because this looks much better. Now in the other pot, this is an insulin plant, but our kasambahay planted a ginger root here, so this is actually luya. I don't know what it's doing here, but it's thriving quite well, so I'm just gonna leave it because it's a nice green shoot anyway. And if we need ginger, I can just uproot this and dry it. I think it was in April during the lockdown that my mom thought of buying a basil plant and a labuyo, sili labuyo, which is a chili pepper plant, from the place where we bought our greens. So this is the basil plant. I put it behind this little greenhouse thing because birds kept dive bombing it. It's actually recovered really well from being just 3 stalks and 3 leaves. It looks good, and this was good enough to propagate, so I cut off one of the longer stems and put it in water, and now I've put it back in soil and it looks really good. My main problem is that this basil plant is actually I don't know what its seed was, and it tastes minty. So it might be a crossbreed between 2 different basil varieties, and that crossbreed gave rise to a minty basil. So, you know, if you feel like you have bad breath during the day, just pop off one of these leaves, chew them, and instant breath freshener. This is the ceiling Labuyo plant that my mom bought. If you'll notice, it's quite sparse because it was attacked by a pest. That pest is called scales, so you might find there's white little deposits on the stem, and you'll see that this stem is actually quite scarred from being attacked by the scales. And after some recovery, the plant had leaves again after drying up, but the leaves are drying out again, so I think maybe the roots are a problem, or the soil is a problem as well. So I might have to say goodbye to this plant in a little bit. And then my dad had the bright idea of taking a Seedling Labuyo fruit, so it's a chili pepper, taking the seeds, drying them, and then planting the seeds in some extra soil. And that gave rise to these fellas right here in the back. These are all Seedling Labuyo seedlings, and that's not all 3 of them. There's also 2 more over here beside my basil plant. Now I don't know what we're going to be doing with this many Seedling Labuyo plants, but it's always better to have a lot of them because yeah, the pests can get to them, which is quite frustrating. Hopefully I can keep these little seedlings healthier than the plant that preceded them. And then I do have a bunch of mint seeds that I sprouted. So I'm not sure why it's just this part that's borne the seeds or borne the mint, because I did seed all over the place and they're actually quite stunted also. But when I first tried to plant mint, this strange little plant grew, and at first I thought it was mint until the leaves started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I found out it's a wild cucumber, which you might see on many various overpasses in the city. So it grows quite wild. I think a bird dropped a seed from eating a wild cucumber into my pot, and that's why this sprung up. I've recently just trimmed a whole bunch of its vines because it wilted because I forgot to water it. And then I do have my pride and joy, which are these 2 tomato plants. So I have neighbors here who are certified plantitas, and I guess they had an excess bunch of tomato seedlings, so they sold me a few, and these are 2 of them, grown up nice and tall. They've actually outgrown the little scaffoldings that I bought for them, so I'm gonna have to get taller ones. And if all goes well, they actually do have flower shoots, and I'm expecting these to bear flowers, and since tomatoes are self-pollinating, they will also pollinate themselves, and I will soon have tomato fruit. So those are my food plants, but I also do have some ornamentals, and they usually stay inside the house, but I've taken them out because I need to add water into their self-watering pots. These are my ornamentals. They are Pothos, otherwise known as devil's ivy. These are actually 2 separate Pothos vines which have entwined. There you go. So this is a golden Pothos, and this larger leaf is called a jade Pothos. I also have what they call a marble Pothos, which has 2 new shoots, and this one's struggling, so please survive. So yeah, I'm a wannabe plantita. I've had mixed success. Now this is the little pot where the soil is. I'm gonna add some water into the bottom of the other pot, just a little, so that plants can drink up however much they want. So you're now inside my room, and this is the home of those pothos, the ornamental plants. This is a spider plant, which kind of frustrates me because it's half dying, half surviving. But it really perked up when I put it here alongside all my other plants. So we are back outside, and those are all my plants. I never really thought that I could take care of so many. I just realized there's so many. And that's because I don't consider myself a green thumb. In fact, I don't think this is the work of a green thumb either. It's just somebody who's become a bit of an enthusiast. My cousins and I are all like in this, we have a little group chat, and our common refrain is every time we have a new plant, or we've repotted something, or we've propagated a plant in water and then transferred it to soil, our common refrain is sana mabuhay. I hope it survives. I do think though that it's kind of keeping plants and trying to keep them healthy has taken some strain away from my brain, from basically just being trapped and thinking about being trapped and stuck at home, when before I used to be able to spread my wings all over the world, or had the option to do so. The plants are a very good diversion. You know that the color green actually helps you with stress. It de-stresses you. At the end of the day, I can come out here, I can look at my plants, I can look at that beautiful sunset and really just relax and let go of my work stress, and yeah, hopefully be recharged enough for the next day. And that's all there is to it. Actually, we've been taking things one day at a time. With plants, it's also one day at a time. One day they're thriving, the next day they're dying, and you just gotta do what you can do for them each day. Yeah, it's basically a little metaphor for life, and it helps my brain process things that are going on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed a little peek into what keeps me occupied aside from making these videos for you and doing my work. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you again next time. Bye!